Hi y'all, this is So Blessed. Welcome to the Blessed Place. How y'all doing? I miss y'all and it is so good to be back. I was catching up on my video comments and I came across a comment on one of my videos. Is my husband a cheating type? I'll put the link right over there. But the person asked, what do I consider cheating? And I thought that was a very good video idea. Yeah, that's the word, idea. So, what is cheating? Tell me, what do y'all think cheating is? I'm going to tell you what I think it is. And then I would love to hear you chime in on it because this is a very good topic of conversation. I personally think that cheating is for one person to do anything, to say anything, to go anywhere, or to be in the presence of anybody that your husband, wife, spouse, partner, significant other, lover, whoever you're in a relationship with, they do not approve of. That's just being in a conversation that you know your partner would not approve of, sending emails back and forth, texts back and forth that you know your partner would not approve of, would be upset by, would be hurt by, being in the presence of someone that you know your mate would not approve of, would be hurt by. Some people might think that that's just going a little too far, saying, oh, that's not cheating. But this is just my personal opinion of cheating. I think you have to be very careful when you are in a relationship and then you have these outside relationships, these outside friendships. You have to be careful of how you conduct yourself in those relationships. And I'll tell you what I use is, if my husband was watching, if my husband was reading this, if my husband was listening on the other line, would he approve of this conversation? Would he be upset about this conversation? Would he be hurt by this conversation or this email or this text message? So that's the, trying to think of the word, but that's how I weigh it. That's what I use. There's a word for that, but I can't think of it right now. But that's what I use to determine. And I'll tell you, when I first got married, I had friends. I mean, I have long time friends over the years who, whenever I've had relationships or breakups or whatever, I've always had good relationships with the men in my past. I mean, that's why I don't believe in this, all men are dogs and, all of that stuff. I know it doesn't always happen like that, but I've always maintained good relationship with the guys in my past. And there were many. But when I got married, I had a couple of friends who I still talk to on the phone. And my husband knew this. He knew that, and when I say talk to, I didn't talk to a whole lot, like maybe once every 2-3 months. And my husband said that they were calling to see how the marriage was going so they know if they can get in where they fit in. But I said, they just being friends. And my husband like, yeah, right. But when I did talk to them on the phone, or every blue moon if they texted me or something like that, then I would always say, is this a conversation that my husband would approve of? What if your husband was on the other line? And that's the way I kept the conversation status quo. Now, every now and then, my friend would say something, or my friends would say something like, oh, I sure miss you, or I remember, and I was like, oh, that's so sweet. I say that and keep it moving. Because, like I said, I always kept my conversations as if my husband was listening. And another premise that you could use is, would I want my mate doing this? Would I want my mate receiving this text? Or would I want my mate receiving this email? Or would I want my mate talking to his ex in this manner? So those are the two things you have to use. Would I want my mate to do this very thing, to say this very thing, to hear this very thing, to do this very thing? And also, if my mate were listening, watching, was in my presence, would my mate be hurt, mad, angry, dissatisfied. So that's what my idea of cheating is. Some people think that you have to actually have sexual intercourse or physical intimacy with the person to cheat, but I don't think that. I think definitely you've gone way too far when you've done that. But when you got these little secret texts and these little secret conversations, because I know how the human spirit is. It's like, my friends, I don't even really talk to them anymore. I mean, maybe once a year I may hear from them, maybe once a year. But I even had to cut that off because I know how the human spirit is, and sometimes we put too much confidence in our flesh, and we think, oh, I can talk to this person and it'll not affect my relationship. But when you talk to anybody on a consistent basis, and when you hang up from the phone with that person or you depart from that person and you have a good feeling within, then the human spirit, the body, the emotion wants to continue to have those good feelings. And especially if you're not receiving that in your relationship, then the body, regardless of what your mind says, the body, the spirit is going to seek after those things. So you can fool yourself and think, oh, this is just my friend that I have lunch with every day at work. But at the end of that lunch, when it makes you feel good to be with that person, when you're thinking about that person, when you are not with him or her, when you're looking forward to that lunch, or you putting on a little extra something, you making yourself look a little extra good, smell a little extra good, the human, the body, the spirit, the emotion longs. I mean, everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to be liked. Everybody wants to be made feel special. Everybody wants to be made feel like they're funny, they're engaging, they're wonderful. And when you have a side relationship with someone who starts to make you feel like that, I don't care how much you want to say, I would never cheat on my mate, partner, spouse, husband, wife, whatever it is, then you are fooling yourself, because it's going to be only a matter of time. Even if you don't go all the way with it physically, then you're going to be emotionally tied to that person. Just like Yvette, Living My Best Life, talks about soul ties. You're going to start developing a soul tie with that person, because that person makes your soul feel good. So my advice, if you are in a relationship and you want that relationship, then you can't build these little side relationships with other people. And if you're in a relationship and you're not getting what you need and you don't want the relationship, then you might want to think about getting out of the relationship. Now, unless you're married. Somebody else asked me a question about what I thought about, getting out of relationships when you're married. That's a whole nother video, and we'll talk about that too. Although there are times to get out of a marriage, but I don't condone getting out of marriages as easily as I condone getting out of relationships when you're not married. That's a whole nother video. Okay, hopefully I didn't go around, like my mom said, Moses barn, and didn't really say anything. I hope what I said made some sense to somebody. Okay, y'all be blessed and work on your relationships. Build on your relationship. I had a video, my video about starting with the woman in the mirror. My husband and I have an absolute beautiful relationship, and I'm not just saying this on camera. My sisters, anybody that know me can testify to that. But a beautiful relationship does not mean there are not ups, there's not downs, and does not mean that you cannot improve upon yourself and improve upon the marriage. So always be working at it. Always improve upon your marriage or your relationship. Y'all be blessed. More videos to come. We got lots to talk about. Love y'all.